Friends, it's Carl again with Calm Survival. And what I want to talk about today is a little bit more of an abstract topic. I have a few things to point to, but really want to discuss the difficulties that can come from trying to find advice online, and particularly with the things that we buy. Ultimately, at the end of the day, we can have a lot of skills, we can have a lot of experience. Those take a lot of effort. And in the meantime, in the getting to there, we often have to buy a bunch of tools and other things that help supplement ourselves. Or maybe it's just simply a matter of, my fingernails are only so strong, I do need to have other tools. When we start hunting around on the internet, well, drama soup. The internet is populated by drama llamas. And some of that then bleeds into our perception. Humans, I think since humans first started communicating in pictures and abstract thought, we've had some sort of form of brand and brand identity. All the way back through history, there is always something of an idea of idea ownership. It's not a Western concept. There are certain cultures where those things are more shared, but credit has always been where due, and credit has always been stolen. It has always been a thing of value. Now, these two knives look very similar. And if you were to talk about the trademarks, the brand identifiable, legally protected in, the US, Canada, Europe, Australia, you would probably look for the logos, okay? Spider and a butterfly. But in this case, this little round hole is actually the trademarked brand of this company, of Spyderco. And at some point, Benchmade decided to challenge that concept. That I think is a fair challenge to make anytime a company leaves something on the table that their competitor is doing. That's a business choice they're making, but I think it's the reason the system is in place the way it is that it can be challenged. Now, eventually, Benchmade and Spyderco came to an agreement, and this hole is licensed to Benchmade. The reason is it's really effective. Okay, it's a great way to get a knife open, which is why Benchmade wanted to use it. When we talk about big brands, though, we kind of get this corporate feeling. We feel like they're a little bit impersonal. The reality is, both of these knives are manufactured by family-owned businesses. They don't have a huge staff. They are big by way of knife companies. They're definitely in the top half, but they don't have huge staffs. They have, both of these companies have had social media managers who've used their real names and not just hidden behind the company logo. Now, in a lot of cases, that may be a bit of a surprise. Whatever hobby you're in, you probably know that there's some drama between one brand or another, or some influencer or another. And take that and expand it out. That applies to literally every community, every group, every hobby, every aspect. Anytime you have an expert who is presenting a thing, there is going to be somebody arguing with them. There's two ways to approach that. You can take sides, join a tribe, which, I'll be honest, there's a lot of people on the internet who, these could be team jerseys. They're on one side or the other. but I'm sure you have a hobby or a thing you know about already. If you're a car guy, you definitely know this. I am sure that with everything else in life, there are factions, there are groups where, well, you have to be wearing our brand, or don't follow these guys because they did a shady thing to these guys. Whatever it is, you've already experienced it. Or instead of that tribalism, we can just take the best from both. And in fact, the guys who made these knives, that's kind of what they did. Yes, there was a legal challenge and all of that sort of stuff, but they came to an agreement. Not everybody else did. Not everybody else took that high road. The lock on this knife is called an axis lock, okay, is patented by, not Benchmade, patented by another pair of knife designers, and that was under patent for quite some time, but it was ripped off by other companies. Now, there is a temptation to go, well, those other companies are in China, therefore China bad, all that. The reality is the length of the patent was a little bit unclear. Yeah, it was probably shady for the company who ripped them off to do it in the way they did, because that company also ripped off design elements and basically made copies of other knives that had distinct properties. But again, it does get difficult. And this is where the buyer needs to beware, because while I don't agree with just taking someone else's intellectual property, really at the end of the day, what we have is we can buy quality, or we can buy something that came from a banner ad on a website, and we are probably spending money in a way that is not really, it's not going to be good for us. We're not going to get the product we wanted, but also it means that the companies that are producing the good products are going to struggle some. Now there's other dramas, okay? The company that makes, or that designed this knife, because we can't focus, okay? This knife style by this company has been actually manufactured by two manufacturers, and they were in a long-standing dispute with the first manufacturer, okay? Rowan is the manufacturer of this one. This was the second manufacturer they moved to. However, the reality is that Ontario Knife Company, which is the other manufacturer and is still making this style of knife, they're still kind of accepted by the wider community. So sometimes it's just one of those things of, hey, look, there is a both sides. Maybe somebody had some accounting that someone else didn't agree with. I don't know. I wasn't there. And then people will get tribal over just the strangest things. Every group has this. And keep in mind, I'm talking about drama from predominantly white, mid-40s, middle-class dudes. This is not some Instagram influencer, called out somebody else, said something about somebody, and the stereotypical, 13 to 23-year-old, daddy's money, female, whatever. No, there is no bounds to catty basicness. All right. If it's on the internet, somebody's going to get mad. But you got to decide what you're going to do with it after that. You can follow the tribalism, and you probably lead yourself down the garden path into just being angry online, or you can look at the basic facts and make a decision for yourself as to who's actually making the thing that you want. I've literally just used one product category as an example. The same could be said for every manufacturer of these green bags. Okay, yeah, somebody invented this thing, I guess, somewhere. But any company stitching heavy duty nylon, they all make almost exactly the same thing. So don't get too bound up in it. Just make sure that you're buying stuff that you know where it comes from. And hopefully you're not buying into the tribalism, because honestly, that will just cost you money and will not make you happy. Okay? It's teams for the sake of teams. Don't need that in your life. All right. That's been another one with Calm Survival. I've been Carl, and I'll catch you guys next time.